Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the FCM 50T HD review, the French Tier 8 Heavy Premium Tank. It's not really a heavy tank, you should already know this by now. One of my, it is my most played tanks, and for the longest time it was one of my favorites, but it is no more. To find out more, keep watching the fucking video. Who would have thought? Anyways, let's start with the armor. So you have 120 upper plate angled at 30 degrees, which pretty much means that this upper plate is shit. Can bounce something like chromos or shit like that. Tier 6, 7 mediums with the upper plate. On occasion, can't really rely on it. The turret is even worse. You have 120 front. It is flat in the middle. It does have some angles, but most of the turret is around 150 zone-ish, so most of the things that are going to be shooting at you will be penning you with ease. You have a cupola as well, as the armor wasn't bad enough. Good news is you have an 80 side armor, which can be used for side scraping. It can definitely work out against bad players that do not know how to play this game. You can side scrape out, try to make them shoot these kind of parts where they can have no chance of penning you, but whenever you're gonna be exposing your gun, you're also gonna be exposing your upper plate, which is gonna mean that they will easily be able to penetrate this. Reverse side scraping would work better if the tank had any fucking gun depression to the back, but it has pretty much none, which makes it really awkward and you have to over angle, and that is a bad thing. Or, you know, if you don't over angle, you're gonna be sticking out your ass while doing this, and that is not a good thing. And also you can't really shoot anything that is not an FCM's turret pretty much, as this tank is really tall as well. Anyways, let's look at the gun depression and the self stats. So you have 8 depression, not too bad, 17 elevation, nothing really special about that. The self stats, I guess, what can we compare this with? There's not really anything of even similar when it comes to the heavy tanks. We could compare it with something like a Panzer 58 Moots. Why not? So the self-stats are severely worse with better power to weight, slightly better power to weight, but in general this tank is pretty damn slow when it comes to... the power to weight is absolutely meaningless here because, as you see, the self-stats are twice as bad, so the Moots is going to be much faster than the FCM. Anyways, let's get into the replay. So here is the replay. Playing on Mountain Pass, top tier game. The FCM does have preferential matchmaking, so half of your game should look like this. Alright, enough fucking around. Let's figure out why the fuck is the FCM not one of the best tanks in the game anymore. Well, the accuracy nerf hurt it a bit, but it hurt most of the tanks. But what really hurt the FCM 50T is the fucking power creep. So I made a little list that you can see on the screen now. These are all the tanks, well, not all the tanks, but some of the tanks that have been buffed since the FCM was introduced. In the red, I have added the tanks that have become like the staple of their tier, pretty much the best tanks in their class or tier. Obviously 112, IS-6, IS-3, STA-2 as a medium. Most of these tanks got their buffs with their HD remodeled. Some of the tanks got buffed more than once on this list as well. Some of the buffs are kind of meaningless to, like, you know, Ferdinand hit point increase. That's like kind of meaningless, but at the same time it's still a buff, right? And let's be real, FCM 50T is not really the greatest tank to fight a fucking Ferdinand with, as long as you can get around it, of course. And then there's the slightly smaller tier 9 list of tanks that got buffed. Again, red color is significant buffs that pretty much make the tank the best at its tier. List is much smaller than a tier 8, but at the same time there's a lot less tier 9s in the game than tier 8s. I didn't even bother looking through the tier 7s and 6s, but there have been a lot of buffs there as well. And this list is like me recalling, can I remember or not, if some tanks were or were not buffed. The tanks that are on this list, definitely, you know, all of them have had some buffs in the recent past, but there might be some tanks missing, of course, as well. So FCM used to be a tank that was really nimble, heavy tank that could get to places that other heavies could not. Had a really good gun with good DPM and, you know, alright accuracy and alright aiming time, but that all kind of changed. I mean, the FCM didn't change. Every fucking other tank did change, though. And now when you play something like an STA2, you really realize how shitty the gun on this FCM really is. And of course, the accuracy changes have a really big part to play in the fact that the gun on the FCM feels so bad now, but still. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to this real quick. Let's talk stats though. 1500 hit points, 400 meter view range, top speed forwards 51, backwards 20. When it comes to the gun, you get 1920 DPM, 240 damage per shot, 212 penetration, a 2.3 second aiming time with 0.3 accuracy. The funny part about the gun is that it's pretty much the same weapon that the STA2 uses now. All the penetration DPM stats are the same, apart from the FCM gets 2.3 second aiming time instead of 2.1, accuracy of 0.36 instead of 0.37 on the STA2. But what you cannot see in the store or in the game or anywhere really, unless you know about Things GG or sites similar to that, the soft stats absolutely shit on FCM. Absolutely and totally destroys this tank. On paper, this tank should still be a fucking beast if there wasn't such a thing as soft stats, but you know, fuck the FCM and fuck its soft stats. And the biggest fucking problem with the FCM 50T now is that whenever you face a tier 8 heavy pretty much of any kind apart from another FCM 50T, this tank used to be peak, do damage, fuck off before they can aim and shoot you. Now this tank is peak, miss or bounce, and then get shot in the fucking face and then cry every time. So yeah, that is why the FCM 50T is no longer one of the best premiums in the game. However, it is still manageable. It's still okay. It's just not really good for the fucking money they ask for. It costs 11,900 gold. You could buy an STA2 and a fucking, 3 months of premium for that probably, or something similar to that, which is a much better deal. And really, the only downside to buying an STA2 over the 50T is that you don't have preferential matchmaking, which is a big deal, but I don't think it's really worth paying that extra price. Alright, now, since we have that out of the way, what if you have this tank and you can't get rid of it and you want to know how to play it? Well, the gameplay is pretty much the same as I described. You peek, you shoot, you bounce or miss, and then you fuck off and hopefully don't get shot in the face. I mean, look at this aiming time. This is atrocious for 240 damage. Like, seriously. And that comes down to, of course, the soft stats. The funny thing is that the FCM 50T has pretty much the same soft stats as the fucking IS-3, which I just find hilarious and sad, but you know, Wargaming probably found it fucking funny. And not only they're similar, the IS-3 actually has better stats on moving the turret, so whenever you move a turret in an FCM, your aim is gonna go more to shit than in an IS-3. And how the fuck can you explain that, man? This game has been kind of a turkey shoot so far, but our team is so fucking bad that even with all that, they haven't been able to, you know, not all die, which is kind of what I wanted them to do. But anyways, now we have to deal with this T-34, and the good thing about the FCM versus T-34 is that your reload is exactly 2 times faster, which means that you can shit on T-34s quite well still, which is, you know, one of the reasons why you should not buy a T-34. But we're still in quite a lot of trouble here. The Tiger P on full health, who knows how good or bad he is, and it seems that the FCM is gonna kill our pattern, which is gonna mean that we're gonna have to fight on 2 sides with only 2 tanks left, and one of them being 100 hit points and me just getting hardied. But I do have to go and face that FCM 50T. There's no way we can let that guy reach a comfortable position to shoot me in the back, then we're definitely gonna lose. So first FCM, then the rest of the world. Would be the best to catch him out while he is in the open. And yeah, this aiming time fucking killed me now. The funny part is though that he kind of killed himself now, because I did shoot faster, I do have more hit points, and I do have a much better position as well. So he literally killed himself there, which is rather weird. If he just fall back to hull down, I would be forced to look at him, and the other 2 enemies probably would be able to handle the Yak Tiger 88, so we would have lost when those guys went behind me or just capped. But the FCM played bad there once again, so another guy to add to the list of the people who played bad in this game. And now it's the Yak Tiger 88, who somehow manages to get killed by a Firefly, and a Tiger P against me. And of course they still have an RD piece as well. That shot was rather sad, but I didn't aim it for shit, so cannot really complain too much about that. We should be able to kill this guy though. Now it's me versus the Tiger P, who has a bit more HP than I do. And of course he still has the Hummel as well. So this peak, I mean, it shouldn't really work, but somehow it does, because the Tiger P misses me, which kind of points me in the direction that he might not be the greatest player that ever played World of Tanks. The RD still nails me for 300, which pretty much puts me into the one-shot range of him. And yeah, this Tiger P, I mean, he peaked without shooting there, and I just need to get rid of this guy before the RD shoots me again, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And now it's me versus RD, which I am going to speed up because this is gonna take forever otherwise. Man, if only the FCM would be this fast in normal time scale. Anyways, we're going to their base, obviously loading HE here, as Hummel should be quite an easy pen for an HE of the 50T. It should have enough pen, and if I actually one-shot the Hummel, that could be the difference as well. Now, he could be running away, and he probably is, but we still have to be cautious here and try to scout out all the usual angles for the RD to sit in, which we're trying to do. Gonna go on top of the hill here to see if he's not sitting somewhere waiting for me to start capping, which he is not doing, and he started capping 3 seconds before me, so I have to go back and reset now. It's the only chance I have to win this game. And while the FCM is not that fast, it's still fast enough to get me to the other cap circle just in time, which is rather nice. And now the standoff between tier 6 RD and the tier 8 heavy tank. I should be able to outspot them, and there's quite a lot of cover in the cap circle as well, which is rather nice. And now only one HE pen away is the great victory, and of course critical hit with HE. Green pen marker should have been an easiest pen of my life, but he didn't even spot me, so it doesn't actually matter, and he is dead now. So here's the end plate. Ace Tanker, 2883 experience earned, Top Gun, Defender, and High Caliber. We ended up doing 5159 damage and assisted 433, 1747 base XP along with 7 kills. So not a bad game for the FCM 50T, but once again, as I said before, I was really carried here by, first of all, the enemy team not having any Russian heavies, second of all, our enemy team having a lot of bad tier 8 players that were running around like headless chickens that I could farm really easily, and some throws from the enemy 50T in the end there as well. Oh well. FCM 50T, man, used to be one of my favorite tanks in the game, but now it's just a sad shadow of a tank I used to love and play a lot. Don't really want to play this tank ever again, to be honest. A really frustrating gun, and in general, just a mediocre tank. But hey, comrade, let's buff armor of IS-3 again, because fuck you, bitch. I'll see you on the next one.